Netflix releasing the second seasons of two spy-themed series just a week apart, that's crazy. First we had The Night Agent, now we get The Recruit. They're different in tone and execution, so will this be the one that you're going to want to watch? CIA lawyer Owen Hendricks finds himself pulled into a life-threatening espionage situation in South Korea, only to realize that the bigger threat just might be coming from inside the agency. Okay, so if you enjoy Munchies, I'm going to try out a new one at the end, so stick around. Noah Centineo is back as the rookie CIA lawyer who keeps finding himself in bizarre and dangerous situations, simply because he opens the mail and discovers someone is once again attempting to graymail the agency. Now, I had a blast with the first season of this show. Centineo has this natural charm that breaks through his bumbling and stammering character. He's constantly walking into trouble, but is also always so flabbergasted by his predicament that it makes it almost impossible not to like him or cheer him on, even if his own dumb decision got him there in the first place. Now, this season doesn't waste any time picking up pretty much where the first season left off, and Owen finds himself relegated to an office that's devoid of phone, computer, or personal contact. It's a punishment of sorts, but one that's going to last a very long time, which is how he then gets mixed up with a new case. The setup, it's simple, but it works because of the simplicity. We're already familiar with Owen's tendencies and mannerisms, so when he's sequestered to his office and not allowed to do anything, we know that it's only a matter of time before he messes that up. Now, returning this season are Fievel Stewart, Artie Mann, Colton Dunn, Vondi Curtis Hall, Kayla Zander, Angel Parker, Nathan Fillion, and Christian Brun. And while not all of these are front and center with Centineo, they each get moments to shine. And if you're like me in season 1, Fievel Stewart's Hannah, she got on my nerves because she wouldn't butt out of situations, which then led to her getting into danger and then creating even more chaos for Owen. Well, this season, she's still central to a story arc, but she's also not nearly as frustrating as before. I mean, she's still got moments, so it's not a complete retcon of her character, but the growth that we see, it's appreciated. Colton Dunn and Artie Mann also return, and while they're not pulling pranks on Owen like they started out doing, their dynamic is entertaining as they constantly get to be annoyed with each other and then Owen. Now, one of my favorite characters from season 1 was Christian Brun's Jonas Ferber, and the way he was consistently a beat away from cardiac arrest or nervous breakdown, combined with his aggressively neurotic responses to Owen, I thought they made him hilarious. And thankfully for this season, we get even more of him. I mean, the reluctant collaboration that he has to do is awesome. Brun chews his way through dialogue with a gleefully snarky tone. I mean, he's just about at the point that his picture would be next to the definition of sarcasm in the dictionary. Surprisingly, it never got tiring for me. I mean, I grew to crave his varied frustrations and retorts that he had towards Owen, and they never disappointed. The show successfully continues to globe hop and interweave scheming and treachery from several different directions, creating story complexities that keep the pace from slowing and also maintain the air of mystery within the story. The arcs run the risk of becoming convoluted and too complex for their own good, but everything is laid out simply enough that the intricacies don't cause havoc for the narrative. And each episode's about 50-ish minutes, so there's enough time to flesh out the arcs and untangle any wonkiness that might arise. But unlike season 1, this season only has 6 episodes, and I think this is where the show falters the most. When the final episode finished, it felt incomplete, like there was still a bit of story left to tell, so that this season was then complete and not left dangling. And I'm not talking about a cliffhanger or the lack of one. It literally feels like there was at least one more episode to go, and it just didn't get sent to me. Nope, it's only 6 episodes. I mean, this means that a great deal of finality to what we watch play out, it's just left undone and unaddressed. And I don't mind a bit of vagueness, but I have several questions as to what happens to a few of the players, especially because some elements were set in motion that could have rippling and dire effects. But how it stands, they feel forgotten, never to be brought up again. And maybe in the hopes that if this is renewed and continues on with the 3rd season, audiences aren't going to remember the lack of resolution. There are also a couple of scenarios that are way more obvious than I think the show means them to be. They don't necessarily destroy the storytelling, but the predictability was unfortunate, especially because it felt like the writing really believed that it was obscuring these surprises. But problematic ending and obvious moments aside, the show gives us some exciting and brutal action, and doesn't miraculously heal our characters after the episode ends. I mean, as the show progresses, Owen looks worse for wear, and we can see how everything he encounters is beginning to take an extreme toll on him. And there are also moments within the fights that I thought created some gasp moments, where surprises occurred that I was not anticipating. mean, I'm not saying they weren't satisfying, they were just not expected. And I appreciate, too, how all that Owen encounters works to inform his state of mind and then affect his general outlook on life. There are dilemmas that he faces that can have lasting consequences, and those story complexities keep the character fresh, even if we are watching Owen step in it for the 4th time in the season. So overall, the 2nd season of Netflix's The Recruit is a thrilling and enjoyable ride with some spectacular fights and action, along with enjoyable story complexities. The characters continue to be the driving force for engagement within the storytelling, deftly mixing comedy, drama, sarcasm, and peril to keep the momentum consistent and captivating. Portions of the plot are too obvious, and the show is cut short, prematurely evacuating us from the narrative and removing solid resolutions. Noah Centineo continues to be charming in his lead role, and despite some drawbacks within the season, if he returns for a 3rd, I'm going to be watching. There's sex, a little nudity, a bunch of profanity, and then a ton of violence. I give Season 2 of The Recruit 3.5 out of 5 couches. So are you a fan of this show? Let me know who your favorite character is in the comments below. All right, so now I've got a new munchie to try out. Well, I mean, it may not be brand new, but it is certainly new to me. It is a frosted strawberry milkshake Pop-Tart. Okay, here's the deal. There are only 2 acceptable types of Pop-Tarts. One is frosted blueberry, the other is frosted strawberry. Now, I know you may say something else in the comments, but you're wrong. Those are the only 2 acceptable ones. But I saw this, so I figured, you know what? I'll give it a try. I don't think it's going to be awesome, but I might be surprised. Okay, I opened it already just so that I didn't have like the terrible crinkling noise. But let's see here. Pull this out right here. Yep, there we go. Okay, well, that is a disappointing amount of frosting on this. See this? See the box? These are not the same. Do you see how the frosting on the box goes all the way to the edges there? This skimpy, as I look in the monitor there, very, very skimpy. Not a good start. But hey, that's okay. It smells like strawberry, but fake, because we know it's not real strawberry in the other. Oh, that's disgusting. Okay, so it's pink on the inside, which I kind of anticipated, especially because it shows that on the cover. But it's gooey. Sorry, that was disgusting. Kind of chemically, but no more chemically than the other ones. So that's not really a drawback here. But like any Pop-Tart, I mean, that's gross. I mean, when you pull it apart, I don't know if you can see this. I don't even think I can get it to focus on this. Let's see here. Let's see if it'll do it. You see it? The gumminess of that? Maybe that's appealing to you. Maybe that's a selling point. That's kind of gross to me, but all right. They're not bad, honestly. They're not great. I can feel my blood sugar rising considerably. They're mostly all sugar. I don't even know. I didn't even look at the 380 calories per packet. So that's a good amount right there. Never going to burn that off. All right. Strawberry milkshake Pop-Tarts. If you want to try something new or different, give them a go. Blueberry is still the best, followed by strawberry. Frosted, of course, if you aren't doing frosted on them, that's disgusting. And also, while I have you here, don't put them in the toaster. That's grotesque. That is nasty. They are meant to be eaten right out of the package. Just you open it up, you put it in your mouth, and away you go. That's how you do it. It's gospel. It says it on the instructions someplace, I'm sure. Anyway, thanks for sticking around. If you enjoyed this, please give it a like. Also, don't forget to share and subscribe. I'm Chris. This is Movies and Munchies. Thanks for couching with me.